colors as far as I know. Not any enticing ones, I guess, at least. So actually, let's get started with what's in the deck. For lands, we have 21 full art mountains, because of course mono red, like I said before. It's not really useful to have any other colors besides that. We have one Reckless Bushwhacker. I'm going to get a few more just so I can get that 8-whack going on. 2 Lightning Strikes as a placeholder for the Bushwhackers. 4 Lightning Bolts because we need to do some really quick damage in the early game. 4 Double Cast. 3 Goblin Bushwhackers as 2 Goblin Guides. Of course, with every Goblin deck you have to have 4 Goblin Grenades because that's easy damage, like way too easy. Turn 2, do 5. Plus the extra 1 or 2 damage if you have a Goblin Guide or another creature out. Scarf Prospector, 2 Raging Goblins, 2 Goblin Motivators, 1 Krenko Mob Boss, 2 Goblin Chieftains, make that 4 Goblin Chieftains, 4 Krenko's Command, 1 Goblin Marble Master, 2 Goblin Chain Rollers, 1 Pile Driver, and a Ley Line of Punishment. We do have a sideboard for this deck, believe it or not, and it consists so far of 2 Shatter Storms, 2 Smash to Smithereens, 2 Chandra's Defeat, 2 Smells, 2 Alpine Moons, Goblin Trash Master, 2 Goblin Kings, and 2 Tormod's Crypts. Alright, so optimal hand time. It's going to be 3 Mountains, a Goblin Guide, Goblin Grenade, Goblin Chieftain, and 1 Krenko's Command. So obviously first turn we're going to do a Goblin Guide, attack for 2. If they reveal the top card of the land, they get to put it in their hand. If not, back upside down. Our turn, untap, upkeep, and we draw. I don't know why I placed the land, but we did that a bit early. That's fine. I've got a Lightning Bolt. Next card is going to be 1 Krenko's Command, like 2 1/1 goblins. I don't have the token at the moment, so we're gonna have that as our 2/2 goblins, or 1/1 goblins. So far, let's say they have a 2/2 on the field, untap, upkeep, draw, another land, that's fine. And we're going to play Goblin Chieftain. So now these 2 1/1 goblins are 2/2 goblins, and this is a 3/3 goblin. And I'll attack for 7. Alright, they block 1, I guess, theoretically. One of these goblins are dead. Untap, upkeep, draw, another land. Going a bit heavy on those right now. So, next up, actually not sure what exactly you do, because by the time, they should have something out. If they have a creature out, Goblin Grenade. If not, you still use the Goblin Grenade. You just pay 1 for the Lightning Bolt. They're down to 10. And then pay 1 Goblin Grenade, kill the other Goblin. Deal 5. Actually, I take that back. What you want to do after Lightning Bolt is attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, once the attacks are done and they're at 6, you want to pay the 1, play the Goblin Grenade, put it on this guy, and just attack him, and do 5 to the player. I think they're down to 1, and I'll put it on the screen if my math is wrong because I'm sort of making this video on the fly. Their turn, untap, unless they can do something I basically win due to damage, another land, and I guess I can attack for that extra 1, and I win. That is one of the most optimal hands I could have. There's better hands I could get, I just don't have all the cards yet. I'll update you if I get better cards in the deck. Like, here, I'll explain the sideboard real quick too. But if I get better cards to the deck, I'll be sure to put them in and eventually make a part 2. Now, reasons for certain cards in the sideboard. 2 Tormod's Crypt. If they're running a certain, I don't remember the deck type, that requires you to pull cards in the graveyard or have a certain amount of cards in the graveyard, like, not Storm, there's another deck that, there's a card that requires instants and stuff to be in the graveyard. So you want to make something like that. Goblin King is obviously if you're against an enemy that is running mountains, and you'll instantly have Mountain Lock and +1/+1. Trash Master is for stuff like Tron and all that, and you have artifacts and you can destroy target artifact. You better have this early game or turn 4, because otherwise it's kind of useless, but I have it just because. Alpine Moon is for like Urza's Tower and all that. that way I can just remove its effects, or 2 of them if I ever get both of them out. 2 smelts is obviously the 2 smelts are obviously just for the artifacts. Chandra's defeat are of course for more red or planeswalker like Chandra. 2 more Smash to Smithereens for that extra damage as well as artifact destruction, and Shatterstorm against more artifacts.